Hey folks, everything new under the sun. Now this article caught my eye. This is from nowtheendbegins.com. Song of Solomon contains an amazing reference to pre-tribulation rapture as being in the springtime. So that's interesting. Today is the first official day of spring, and signs of new life are popping up all over the place today, it would seem. The Bible has a lot to say about times and seasons, and in the Old Testament is hidden an amazing nugget related to the soon-coming pre-tribulation rapture of the church. And this was written on March 20th, 2017. You can see the date there by Jeffrey Gritter. Song of Solomon chapter 2 contains an amazing springtime picture of pre-tribulation rapture of the Church of Jesus Christ. My beloved spake and said unto me, Rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone, the flowers appear on the earth. The time of the singing of the birds is come, the voice of the turtles is heard in our land. The fig tree putteth forth her green figs. That's interesting because obviously prophetically the fig tree is used in many references. And the vines with their tender grape give a good smell. Arise, my love, my fair one, and come away. Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verses 10 to 13. This is interesting. I've never heard of this before. Today is the official day of spring, March 20th, I guess he's referring to there. And signs of new life are popping up all over the place. And then they add a note that this section here is what I read at the top there. Because this is an article on Bible prophecy, it assumes spring in Israel and not anywhere else, like in America. I guess that's a valid qualification. That said, spring in both places is just about the same time, he says. When Jewish disciples of Jesus asked in the first chapter of the book of Acts as to when his return to set up the promised earthly kingdom would be, Jesus can somewhat cryptic answer, provided a somewhat cryptic answer that contains a key to unlock the end times prophecy. The exchange went like this. When they therefore were come together, they asked for him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore the kingdom of Israel? And he said unto them, It is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father has put in his own power, Acts 1:6-7. The word seasons appears in the King James exactly 12 times in 12 verses. Interesting number. In the Bible, the word seasons can stand for a period of time as short as a few hours, as seen in Psalm 16:7. But in the vast majority of cases is referring to the 4 seasons we know as winter, spring, summer, fall. It's interesting to note that there are 4 seasons, roughly 3 months apiece, and that 3 times 4 is 12, so I'm making some mathematical calculations there, which are interesting. God is revealed as a trinity in 3 parts. Nearly everything in creation is in 3 parts, and there were 12 sons of Jacob who became the 12 tribes of Israel, as well as 12 apostles. So when Jesus told the apostles that it was not for them to know the times and the seasons related to the end times, could it be that God already put an end time clue to unlock the seasons in relation to prophecy? Yes, that is exactly what he did in the Song of Solomon. The writer says, Song of Solomon chapter 2:8-4 is the main picture of a type of Jesus Christ coming to snatch away his bride. And that's very accurate. That there are a lot of parallels there. From off the earth in the rapture. For starters, you will note that the bride's beloved is a picture as being above her, as if he is coming down to her. The voice of my beloved, behold, he cometh leaping on the mountain, skipping upon the hills, Song of Solomon 2:8. Secondly, he is looking at her through the lattice, located behind the wall, through the veil. That's interesting, through the veil, which is exactly where Jesus is when he comes to get us. He is veiled to us, to the rest of the world, mocking, referred to as the secret rapture, but he is clearly visible to us. Next, you'll know that he does not come down to get the bride, rather he causes her to rise up and come away with him. And he says, now where have we heard that language before? Here, about right here in the New Testament places. For the Lord shall descend from heaven with a shout, and with the voice of an archangel, with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we are alive and remain shall be caught up together with him in the clouds to meet him in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore comfort one another with these words. 1 Thessalonians 4:16-18. After this I looked, and behold, there a door was open. And the first voice I heard was as if a trumpet were talking with me, which said, Come up hither, and I will show these things which must come hereafter. Revelations 4:1. Lastly, this is pretty interesting stuff. We now come to the seasons and some very important time clues. For lo, winter is past, and the rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth. The time of the singing birds is come. The voice of the turtle is heard. In our land the fig tree putteth forth her figs, and the vines with tender grape give a good smell. Solomon 2:11-13. Solomon clearly puts the timing of when the beloved comes for the bride as being that time of year, at a time of year, right after winter, when everything is blooming, the birds are singing, birds singing in springtime. I noticed their song this morning. For the first time all year, the writer says. Also, please note that this is not just any spring which he refers to, but one that also has the fig tree in leaf. That would mean Israel would be back in the land. Next year is the 70th anniversary of the regathering of the nation of Israel. Kind of interesting, don't you think? He says here. Yeah, this was March 20th, 17. On May 14, 2018, Israel will have been officially regathered in fulfillment of Bible prophecy for exactly 70 years. In 70 AD, Israel was destroyed by the Romans, and the temple stones toppled to the ground exactly as Jesus said it would happen. When you subtract 70 AD from 2018 AD, where does that leave you? It leaves you squarely in 1948 AD. Please pause here and allow that to sink in for a moment. Fascinating. So, and it goes on. That is a pretty interesting parallel. For thus says the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you in causing you to return to this place. Jeremiah 29:10. So more parallels here. So the Song of Solomon pointing to a pre-tribulation rapture, and more than that, pointing to a rapture in what looks like the springtime. Indeed. So, you can even get rid of calendars. Forget about dates and calendars. This is going to happen in the springtime. And so that is interesting versus the fall period, Feast of Trumpets timeline there. That is a very interesting. I will put a link in the description. Definitely check this out. This warrants another read-through of Solomon to see where the parallels might be and maybe a listing of them. Pretty interesting stuff. I will leave there, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.